Hi, I'm Brian.
Okay, so here we are walking on to our property. This is the road. This is the boundary. Off to my right here, this is not us. Everything off to the left here is us now, so this is not super usable right here. And I'll show a shot from overhead. Might be hard to orient, but behind this brush right here is the kind of the sizable wash.
Why did they put a water spigot there, you think?
I'm not sure why the spigots are where they are. There's one there. But that's kind of how we drive up. Again, this is the road. This is not technically us right now, but everything to the side of this is. There's a trailer off in the distance. It's got, I don't know if you can tell, but it's raining kind of around us in a couple different places here.
Right there.
Over here too. Pretty dark over there. So we have kind of, as we come up here, this is, if I didn't say it, kind of our plans, at least for now, with what we're going to do with the land, where we're going to put things, what we're going to put where. So this is kind of where the driveways kind of split. Makes kind of a loop that goes up to where the trailer is up there. Again, everything off to the left here, this driveway runs kind of up along parallel to the wash. And it's really kind of unusable because we've got a setback distance from the wash of like 61 feet or something. So we really can't do much over here. The wash is not too far beyond there and it just kind of drops off like a cliff. So we do sort of use this driveway a little bit, but we can't really build over here or anything. So this out in the middle is just some scrub brush kind of in between that loop of driveways. So as we walk up here, this is kind of the main drive. There's the trailer, obviously, and that hill. I've shown a few pictures kind of from up on that hill down. You can see all the land from up there. Again, only part of that hill is ours, but it might as well all be ours because there's really nothing else going on out here. So
it becomes ours.
It becomes ours. So the first kind of usable land, I suppose, would be over here, even though there's also, as I stand by Pam, a bit of I wouldn't call this a wash. This is kind of fissures over here. Precipice. So
don't fall into
that's just, I believe it's for, I don't have any proof of this, but I believe that's from pumping groundwater just for years. So the ground kind of just sinks. I don't know if you can tell on this video how deep that stuff is.
I have a fear that our land is
Sam has a fear that this will engulf all of the land, and I told her it will hundreds of years from now, long after we're gone. So, but this would be our first kind of usable land. But again, it's close kind of down to these fissures here, and I'm not real crazy about that. And it's a little low on the land. The land kind of slopes up toward and past the...
Things grow really well.
Yeah. Toward and past the trailer up there. So even though this is technically usable land, there's just a possibility that over kind of at the far edge of what I'm pointing at here, and again, it doesn't go all the way over there, you know, again, only part of that hill is ours. There's an imaginary line over there, if you can tell, kind of where that scrub brush begins over there, that's kind of the boundary of the land. So I think we're going to put some sort of building over there. It won't be a dwelling, but maybe a workshop, maybe a greenhouse, possibly. Because
I want a greenhouse. Actually,
the septic system is over there. I think the tank, I think, is up here against the hill, and the leach field, I believe, is out here. So you actually get a little bit of growth out here. You can see some green.
Where that big tree is, that's really green.
Where beyond this little tree right here, that tree over there.
I went there today. In it.
Okay, but that's kind of in a little crevice as well, right? So that's not really the leach field. The leach field is out here somewhere. I don't know exactly where, but still walking up the drive. So here's where we start getting to kind of usable things. Obviously, the trailer is where it is. We're talking right now about putting a shade structure over it because it's basically an oven right now. So we think we're going to throw a shade structure over that and leave it there for the foreseeable future. I don't know what we'll do with it when we ultimately move into a home, but now we can talk about kind of what we're going to really... So often just beside me here is where we may have some sort of greenhouse or maybe even a shop, a structure of some sort. So we got the trailer here. We'll be here for a while. We think we'll throw a cover over it. Here's our solar trailer, of course, which is kind of right in, I mean, we can still drive by it here, but it kind of blocks everything, but it was only temporary. So I think what we're gonna do is, if you can, so looking ahead of me, so I'm at the end of kind of the two drives here. I'm now up, and this is kind of the main part of the property in front of me. And we've got that hill off to our right, which the sun goes down behind there. More so in the winter, it'll go behind that hill. In the summer, it kind of is off to the side of the hill over here. It's behind the clouds right now. But so we're thinking when you get up to the end of this drive, we're thinking maybe sort of a carport right in this area here where I've got the cars parked. Not necessarily oriented the way the cars are right now, but actually facing kind of this direction. This is south here. As you can see, the solar panels, where the solar panels face right now. If you can think of a carport kind of with the roof facing the same direction those panels are facing, because I want to put the panels on the roof of that carport and park our cars under it. So right here. So that'll be kind of right at the end of the drive. We'll move this trailer to sit with that carport because the trailer still has the solar equipment in it. We'll move these panels and additional panels up onto the roof of that carport. So it'll be pretty good size right here. We'll just drive up the drive and right into it. It may or may not be a drive through. I'm not sure. I'm not sure what we're going to do as far as sides or whatnot yet. But then this is the main area here. This would be the housing site right in front of me. So it's kind of mid-level on the land. As I said, everything kind of slopes up this direction. I'm facing south right now. So you could do some water catchment, maybe up farther, maybe off the hill over here to some tanks, and maybe still get kind of gravity feed down towards where I'm at. So house right here-ish. There's our quickie shed from Home Depot. We're actually going to put either another shed alongside that, or maybe even replace that with, we're hoping, an earth-built shed. That's going to be one of our earth-built.
Does anyone know how to seal
structures
up the bottom? Maybe we should.
But
no.
the shed's leaking right now, unfortunately. But so there's some rain in the distance there. But that's, I mean, it's not a ton of land. It's 8 acres. It goes just beyond kind of just past the shed right there off to the right. It actually, this is still kind of almost a driveway up here. But I mean, this is the real usable spot right here. So I mean, housing right here, we're thinking. So carport off to my right, housing structure right here, shed back there, and maybe some accessory building kind of off, as I said, kind of behind the trailer now, or greenhouse. And then if I look back towards the driveways, you can see, so that driveway on the right is that first driveway I mentioned that actually runs fairly close to the wash. You can see that that's not the most usable part of the land right there. It's okay, and we could clear some things out if we wanted, but again, the wash is over here, not too far away. As we get up to where we're at, we're of course farther away from the wash, so this area right here, the wash is off in the distance, but our setback from that wash is something like 61 feet. So I think we've got plenty of room to come over here and put a house and still be far enough away from the wash. Maybe hard to tell exactly where the wash is here, but again, I'll show a picture at some point, overhead view, and you'll have to try and orient yourself kind of to where the wash is. Everything's in kind of comparison to the main wash. I might not be able to walk all the way over there because the brush gets a little heavy over here, but there's our compost pile. Actually ready to maybe start up a second pretty soon. But the wash is through a little bit of brush. It's still not too far away, but we can easily get our 61 feet, probably 100 easily. But here we go over to the wash, and like I said, it is pretty steep drop off. You don't really want to get too close to this wash because there is, I mean, it's like dropping off a cliff right here. That's got to be 8 or 10 feet, I suppose, down. And it's a pretty sizable wash. So when you see the picture from overhead, kind of orient yourself to this. But again, back over there, there's a trailer in the distance, and between me and the trailer right now would be the house. Not very big, anywhere from 500 to 700 square feet probably. Not necessarily, I don't know if you'd call that a tiny house or not. It won't be on wheels. It'll be some sort of earth build. We still haven't decided on exactly which type. There's earth bag, there's earth ship, there's cob, there's straw bale. They're all possibilities. So we're still kind of trying to weigh our options and learn about each. But I mean, there's that hill that I think I've shown it in some past videos, but there's a kind of a rebar stake up there, and that actually marks. So really just this piece of the hill is our property, and those couple stakes mark the edge. Let's see. So, and then this is actually ours kind of back here, but there's not much back there. But we could, it is the high spot of the land, we could maybe have some water catchment off of this hill potentially, and into some holding tanks back there, and then have gravity flow down to the house. There is a good bit of slope, so that's why I think in terms of the land, this little area where we're talking about putting the house is pretty centrally located as far as being set back from washes and property lines, and also from a slope standpoint, it's kind of in the middle. So it's not the low spot and it's not the high spot, so you can flow down to it with gravity feed of water if you need to, but yet you're not sitting at the bottom of the property and maybe catching all the water. So I think that makes sense to kind of put it out here in the middle. But that's the current plan. That's what we're drawing up as a site plan to submit to Cochise County for our permit. We're hoping to do that very soon. We're working on it right now. But what I just described to you is kind of what we're drawing on paper, but what they want to know, because we're doing the owner-builder opt-out, what they really want to know from us mostly is how far we are away from property lines and washes and how big each structure is. That's pretty much what they want to know. So that's what we're drawing up. But that's it. That's our current thought. As I said in some past videos, everything is subject to change, of course. That's the best we know right now. From a permit standpoint, I think if you want to err, you would err on the side of kind of showing too much, because you pay kind of one fee for everything that you put on the permit at one time. And if you change your mind, if you probably said, well, I'm not going to do that or that, probably not a big deal. But if you don't draw enough and you say, I want to add this or that, I think that's an additional permit, an additional fee. So we want to make sure we draw everything that's possible. So that's why we're actually going to have like 4 buildings on the permit, even though we may or may not actually end up doing that many. Only one habitable. The others would be accessory buildings like sheds or carports or things. So I don't know where Pam went off to. She must have gone back in the trailer. Dallas is inside. But those are our plans. It's not super detailed, but that's what we're drawing up. And again, you know, who knows, if we'll try and stick to that as best we can until we have a reason to change it. But those are our thoughts right now. And let us know what you think. Talk to you later.